As we continue our fundraising efforts to make One Heart Playground fully accessible and fully inclusive to all children of all ages and abilities, we wanted to bring to you some of the faces of the lives that you're impacting through your donation. Today, I have with me Allison and Andrew Sweatman, and they have two amazing kids that I want them to tell you a little bit about and how One Heart Playground has made a difference in their life. Thank you all for coming this morning. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We have two kids, Rosie and Bo. They are 3 and 4, and they are fairly complex, wonderful, and full of joy, and fill us up every day, but also need a lot. Rosie had quite a long medical journey in her first 6 months, so she is still working on sitting up and not eating by mouth yet, and head control. Yeah. So just mobility-wise, she has a journey ahead of her.
Also Down syndrome.
Yeah, she has Down syndrome. Our son Bo also has Down syndrome. He is this close to walking and this close to talking, and he's making a lot of strides. But
so they both have mobility issues, gross motor issues that make a typical playground, a typical everything, a little bit more difficult.
Yes. Well, that leads into my next question of how has a park like One Heart Playground meant to you as a family? How does that help you in just playing, just being able to play like other kids?
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to know that it's there, that we can just swing by and hop out of the car and go there. And there's things that it's not like we have to figure out which thing can our kids use on the playground. We can pick whatever, just like any kid on the playground. Just grab whatever, jump on whatever thing we want to do. Yeah. And so like there's a nice big wide slide that I can sit down with Rosie and go down, which otherwise she can't go down the slide.
Unless we can do it with her.
Right. I'm too big for most slides these days, but it's just amazing to be able to do that. And the steps are nice and big, so Bo can climb up, and just that accessibility is really amazing.
Awesome. That's so good to hear. So what's the favorite out there amongst the kids? Well, and you guys.
The rock and play.
Yeah, rock and ride.
Yeah.
It's great because I can hold Rosie and we can rock together and we're like, oh, this is fun. And she gets into it and smiles because she likes when we like dance and stuff.
Yeah, she loves movement.
So it's kind of a cool way to do that. That's her favorite thing out there.
I think that is one of my favorites. And the roller slide. That's another favorite. You can go super fast. Yes. So, well, thinking about the future, we are continuing to fundraise because we're learning that as great as the playground is, there are some gaps for some of our kiddos. And you mentioned Rosie having some trouble with head control, trunk control. So
really anything involving trunk control or the ability for a parent to participate in holding, because without trunk control, you're just not going to be able to do much. Anything that has a sitter in it, like, let me just sit my child in that. We don't have the ability to just sit our child in a seat. And so just taking into consideration support of the trunk would always be great. And then really just more playground in general. We just want as much as you can give us of it because, like we said, we don't have just one but two kids who those accommodations are just so valuable to our family. So.
Yeah, and I think too, you have two kids that have similarities. They both have Down syndrome, but yet their abilities are very different. And so you want to be able to cater to both of them and not say, okay, this time we're going to Rosie's playground, this time we're going to Bo's play. You want them to be able to play together. And so that is our hope too with One Heart Playground, to make it more inclusive. And it sounds like that's something that you can participate all together as a family and both children can enjoy.
Definitely.
Yeah, that is so good to hear. That is definitely the mission of One Heart Playground. So I'm so glad to hear that it's meeting you all's needs in different ways. I also just briefly want to talk about, since you guys are so special to me and have, so your parents and you've got all this going on in your life, but you're still giving back in ways through your podcast. And I want you to just talk briefly about what you're doing to bring awareness or educate other people in the special needs world.
Yeah. The podcast is called Oh So Extra, and it's on the podcast app on any of your Apple products. And what we do is we have a mission to bring awareness and demystify the world and the life of a special needs parent for the rest of the world. And we think that will kind of create a bridge, hopefully, between parents of typical children and parents like us who our experience is just very different. There are similarities, and we do need to focus on the similarities sometimes, but we just think that when someone can listen very easily to a podcast about, for instance, G-tubes. Both our kids have feeding tubes, and if we put out an informational podcast just to tell people, here's kind of what life is like, someone's not going to be like, whoa, when they see a G-tube in a restaurant, you know. It's know that there's so much overlap in all these communities, and if people can understand it a little bit better, then hopefully they won't be more inclined to turn the other way or say, don't stare, you know. Maybe they'll say hello, you know, instead of don't stare. So that's the mission behind it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, as you can see why I chose this family, because they're amazing, to be able to show you how your donation is impacting them in many different ways. And their mission of their podcast, as far as raising awareness, but also including everybody, is definitely the mission of One Heart Playground. We want everybody to be included. We want it to be fully accessible. And we still see some needs out there. That's why we're continuing to fundraise. We're going to make One Heart Playground even bigger and better. So your donation is very much needed. Again, it's all tax deductible. You can send it to North Little Rock Parks and Recreation and put One Heart Playground in the memo. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.